Was it always something on your mind, even as a little kid, to become an actor?
Well, let me just start with saying it's special for me too, Tony, because you know how these things go. You can meet really nice people and on press days, a lot of times you'll be like, oh, what a lovely person. And then you move on to somebody else maybe you won't see again. And so to get to sit with a friend is truly special. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And to answer your question, you know, I don't, I was never somebody who was thinking about what I was going to do. Whenever I was younger, when I was really young, I told people I wanted to be a firefighter and a professional bungee jumper. That was like what I said everywhere. But then in my fifth grade yearbook, they asked what I wanted to do when I was older. And I said I wanted to be an actress. And I think that that was maybe the first time I thought like, oh, well, that's something I could do. And then I was in school and not thinking about it too much. But then the film community in Nashville started to open up a bit as I went into high school. And I had worked when I was younger in the industry because my mom was a model and she was with an agency and had an agent who said, hey, you know, if you don't want to hire a babysitter, I'll try and do family bookings. So I'd gone and worked with my mom and I thought it was a blast, but I didn't think that that was something I could ever do professionally. And whenever I was in high school and I saw the market start to open up and people that mom knew that were working when she was younger starting to work in film, then I thought, hey, wait, maybe this is something that I could do and that I could do professionally here in Nashville. I never thought about moving to LA or anything like that till I was much older. And I guess that in high school, whenever I was a freshman, a friend of my mom's had an agency and said, well, why don't you come over and try? And I fell in love the very first project I ever did. I got booked on a Lifeway Christian movie series, and we shot overnight at a tiny restaurant in Murfreesboro. And I knew, like, within the first half hour, I have to do this forever. Whatever this is, whatever this feeling is, this, I feel like I was meant to be here, and I fell in love and never looked back after that.
But the road that you take to from where you were to where you are is a winding and twisting road. Did you do modeling work?
I did. So in Nashville, all of the agencies are full service agencies because we're such a part-time market. And so the general rule of thumb is, unless you really don't want to, then you gotta. Like, if the agent calls and says, hey, we've got, you know, Kmart is doing a circular, then you hop in because everybody is doing everything in Nashville, and you get to go and work with your friends. You meet other people that keep you in mind. And that's a lot of how I've gotten to where I have been, is jumping in on projects that maybe from the outside looked like they wouldn't go anywhere or would be something tiny or weren't related to, you know, the big goal of being in films. And those people that I met have ended up making a massive difference in my life. And so, like you said, it's winding and bizarre, and you could never anticipate how one little thing might change the course of your life in this.
Was modeling a tough job? Was it full of pitfalls and
When I was younger, definitely. I definitely felt like when I first started, the industry was vastly different than it is now, and there was a lot of pressure to be a certain body type, and I definitely dealt with that when I was younger, feeling like I needed to be super thin. And I'm only 5'6" on a good day, you know, when I've stretched. And
wow.
yeah, exactly. And so I loved modeling. I thought it was so much fun. I loved working with photographers and learning about lighting and posing and you know, how to properly pose for different garments. And I found it to be really fascinating. And the majority of work that I did for a long time before I did any acting was print work, which is I think has really helped me. But I really struggled with always feeling just not right as a body type. Even having people say, you're never going to do high fashion. You don't have the body, you don't have the height, you don't really have the face, you're a great commercial model, you know, stay in your lane. And To a certain extent, I get that. Of course, things have opened up a little bit more now, but if I want to do a high fashion concept, we have great photographers in Nashville that have been really kind and included me in that scene, and I've gotten to do some of that. But I love commercial work too. You know, people said you're a commercial lifestyle type model, and I found out, well, that's what pays. And those are the people that call you back time and again. And it's usually a really easy day. And I did a lot of that work to pay my tuition for law school, to pay my bills, met a lot of really nice people. And I found that once I was kind of in that groove, then I didn't struggle as much. The work wasn't as hard because, you know, people were open to having somebody like me there. And so I really, once I found my kind of sweet spot, I did that. And if I wanted to do high fashion, I found friends that wanted to do that with me. But you know what's interesting, Tony, is that working as a model and then coming onto set as an actor, I definitely felt early on that a lot of people were like, well, you're not an actor, so we're going to teach you how to do this. But I had studied acting and trained and been in class, but because I was more known for doing modeling work, there was, in the small market of Nashville, you get known for something and then it's harder to cross over. And after, you know, now being on the other side and I guess being accepted as an actor, working as a model teaches you so much that's helpful on set. It really does. It's a skill set and a body of knowledge that I feel like has helped me immensely.
But I realize also that as a young person, you know, hearing all of that criticism too, as you're getting into this business, has got to affect you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, in ways that you're probably still affected.
Oh, definitely. I remember being 15 years old and having a comp card with a little headshot and going around and meeting with agents in other markets, and a guy from LA. And this was the first time, like I said, I never thought that I could do this when I was younger. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I didn't know that could happen in Nashville. And then once I figured out, well, I do want to do this, and maybe I could go to other markets and do even more. Then I started trying to get agents in other markets, and I took my comp card and I was meeting with this agent from LA, and I'll never forget, he took a Sharpie and started circling on my face, parts of my face, and saying, this fat has to go, this fat has to go. He circled under my chin, this fat has to go. When that happens, get back to me. And that's just one thing of many. I'll never forget having wardrobe stylists on set. You remember all those little moments where they were like, oh, your sizes, you need to do little things like that. And I felt like a lot of that was very body centric. And that was really difficult to navigate for me. It definitely hurt my feelings.
But at 15, I mean, you know, you hear that. How do you deal with that kind of depression? You know, because there's a lot of people that can't.
Oh,
do
yeah.
You know,
No,
they get suicidal because they can't fit into the dress or whatever.
My piece of advice to anyone wanting to be in the industry at all or dealing with those kind of pressures is surround yourself with people you can trust, who are going to be there for you and help carry you through this, because that is the only thing that got me through and a lot of my friends through. And you know, Tony, even now, years later, as a grown woman who can properly self-esteem and come to those kind of situations and rationalize with an adult mind, I still lean on my friends. I've reached out to you, even, and just to be fully transparent, because I hope that this interview helps people. There's times in your life, maybe you won't deal with those specific situations as an adult, but that doesn't mean that this path, trying to be an actor, can't be absolutely heartbreaking and difficult. And you can reach the highest peak and have something fantastic. And Tony, like the film came out and I was super happy, and we're standing together out in Salt Lake City, and I'm like, what now? Because you're at the peak and you feel like you're looking down at the valley, and that's just how it goes in this industry. And I've leaned on you, I've leaned on our friend Brisa just to get through, because it's, no matter what, it is a difficult road. And the truth of the matter is, the rewarding moments make it all worth it. But if you don't have those people around you, then I just don't know how people do it otherwise. So the value of community is so important.
It is, and you've got to rely on your tribe. It's just part of life, and those people who are in a dark place need to realize that there are people that love them, and you're not alone. Everybody's been rejected. Everybody's had these problems, whether or not you're in the business. I mean, it's just life itself. And
I have a question for you, actually, because this is often something I think about as an actor, and you talk to everybody. I mean, the biggest stars in the world, and I often have to think, like, we all look at these people and think they have it all, but I know that you probably see the other side of that even with these fantastic actors who are massive celebrities, who have every conceivable pleasure and leisure in life, I'm sure that even in between they have massive doubt and struggles.
Yeah. I think the bigger the career, the bigger the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I was, and I know people, but I don't want to name drop, but Margot Robbie, I was with her, and she just leaned over to me and said, I gotta quit this. and she really meant it, because all of the agents, all the people telling her what to wear and how to do this and how to walk, and it's becomes a din in your ear, and it takes away some of the joy of meeting people and enjoying the job that you've done.
Absolutely. That has always been my suspicion, which in a way it tempers kind of your experience in those moments because you don't feel as isolated. You're like, I'm not the only one going through this, and I could have everything and still be going through this. And
you're who you are.
Yeah.
That never changes. No matter what kind of car you drive, you're always going to be who you are.
Mm-hmm. You will still be in that car with you.
Yeah. How did pageant work help you?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I got to tell everybody, you were a Miss Tennessee, and that's no small accomplishment.
Thank you. It was one of the greatest joys of my life. And it's funny that you ask about it, because I've actually been thinking a lot about that time lately, because our current Miss Tennessee USA, Crystal Foote, she's a wonderful girl, leaves tomorrow for Miss USA. And she's reached out a lot, and I've been with her and preparing. And so it's kind of taken me back to that time. And I think that it changed my life completely, because it gave me a reference point that I frequently use, where I say to myself, if I can go on national television in a bikini in front of 8 million people, then I can do this. Like, it's just a reference point for me. It's like, that's not nearly as difficult, as that moment. So but no, that year we talked just now about pressure like Margot was experiencing. And obviously I'm not an A-list celebrity. I've never had that experience, but I can tell you, being a title holder at the time that I was, where the pageant got a lot of press and had a lot of attention, it was a very isolating experience because of the amount of pressure you had on you. And it's not only from, online fans and communities, or even people within the organization, but just pressure on yourself because you don't want to let people around you down. You want to win. Like, you want to go, and people are buying tickets and showing up and supporting you. Like, I had a lot of internal pressure. You have a team of sponsors, and I was super fortunate to have an incredible team of sponsors that changed my life as well, because I got everything from media training, personal training. We had a dentist, a doctor, we had interview coaches, and that was all knowledge that I got for free during that time. And that also, like I said, adds a lot of pressure. But to me, going through that and feeling like, I look back and I'm proud, and I feel like even though I didn't win Miss USA, I was a semifinalist. I was in the top 10 out of an incredible group of women. I feel like through that experience, I learned a lot about myself, and I can definitely walk away feeling proud, and it showed me more of what I'm capable of.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
Your last film, The Stolen Valley. What and I told you this on stage too. What a great performance, and what a great scene partner you had with Breeza. It was like watching two old friends doing it. I mean, it was just so much fun to watch.
Well, and from meeting Breeza, she's so easy to love. She's just a fantastic person, and just like you and Breeza and me, we fell into friendship immediately. And it's funny to me because we're two women from vastly different backgrounds and experiences that ended up having so much in common. And I feel like she is my sister now. We are really family. And you're right, she is insanely talented, just has raw natural ability as an actor, but she also has the other side of discipline and preparation. And I so enjoyed working with her because it was truly collaborative, and she elevated my performance far beyond my own capability by just her sheer talent and what she was giving me and what I had to play off of, but also the other side, like I said, preparing and having conversations and figuring out, where we were in our relationship and plotting all of that. She really, it was an experience for me that changed me as an actor, and it's changing my approach in how I approach all of my work was watching her and working with her.
The locations that you were in and all of that, was it a tough shoot?
Oh my God. It was the hardest movie to make ever, Tony. It was so hot. It was so cold. It was so physical. The hours, we had a lot of blue hour work in that film. And anytime you're doing that, it's such a rush because you have that light for this amount of time. Yeah. And everything about the shoot was hard. We love Utah. I love Kanab. I love the people of Kanab with all of my heart. Everybody that has seen it has commented about just how gorgeous the setting is, and the cinematography of Evolve. Of course, they captured it beautifully, but the shoot was a grind. And they, in all fairness, Evolve told me that up front. The very first meeting I had with them, they said, this is going to be scrappy. And I said, okay, I can do scrappy. Now, it was, like I said, in the mornings, it would be absolutely freezing. In the afternoons, it would be boiling. We were up every day just about at 4:30, going to set at 5, shooting until we ran out of light, and then if we needed night, we kept shooting. So that was really difficult. But then the physical component, this is the most physically challenging role I've ever done. And Julian Joyner, our stunt coordinator, and my double was phenomenal and helped me. I learned. I had never done any stunt work. I'd done really minor stuff on Vampire Diaries, falling on a crash pad, but this was really grueling. And but again, like with the pageant, it was an opportunity for me to develop this new skill set that I walked away from, and now it's given me this new confidence because I can say, yeah, I can do that. And I think that it looks really great in the film. I'm really proud of our stunt work and the action.
Does the Stolen Valley experience make you want to do more physical work?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I learned about myself in doing that film. The physicality helps me tremendously with the emotional component. And I think that grounds you in a performance in a way that other things just can't. And so I really like that as a performer, and I feel like it's something that helps me a lot. And then it's just fun.
Since the film has hit, streaming services,
Yes.
it's being watched. It's got a lot of people that have seen it, which I'm very proud of you for that.
Thank you so much. Well, and I appreciate everything you've done to help champion our film, and you've been a big part of that and sharing the word. So we can't thank you enough for your support. But it's wild. I mean, Jesse sent us a clip of us speaking in another language, and I don't even know what it was. He said, here's the film dubbed in this language for this country. And that blows your mind that somewhere you've never been, with a place where you know nobody, people are watching your film. It's really exciting. It's true collaboration, and that's the fun of it. Is like it's the best group project in the world.
What are you looking for?
Allie, I just love you, and I wish we could talk for a longer time, and we probably will. I wish you and your husband would come out and visit. I really do. We'll go to some wonderful restaurant. I'll cook for you. We don't have to go to.
That's what I'm angling for, Tony.
I'm going to do a smoked brisket for you.
Perfect. And I promise, since you've not shared it with the people, then I will.
Nah, you know.
Come over to my social media to get the behind the scenes on Tony's cooking.
I will. You know what? Thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you're a busy lady.
I love you to pieces, T. Thank you.